Hello. Oh my gosh. This week, I can't wait to dive in and talk to you and share a transmission and some things that can support you. Before I dive in, my name is Donnell Davis. I'm a channel healer and a transformational mentor that specializes in future self embodiment. And I feel like this week has had so much rich material for me to draw from. And I've been seeing it a lot in my sessions this week with women I've been mentoring. I've been seeing it in my own personal life. We are in this space before the space before everything happens, before things quicken, the energy of letting things wrap up because we're finishing up the year of the snake until February 17th, which is next week. Today is Friday, February 13th, which is when Saturn is moving into Aries. So we have all these changes. But what I'm feeling so deeply right now, and I'm wondering if you're feeling this too, so I would love to hear in the comments this letting go before there's proof of what's next. It's this feeling of having to take a step forward before you know exactly what you're moving towards. I think we all feel it right now. There's so much change happening. So even if it's not in your personal life per se, I think you might be feeling it in the collective. But before I go into that, I just want to kind of describe on a deeper, kind of embodied level what this might feel like for you. It's almost a sense of having a blindfold on. And, when there's the piñata, I'm from San Diego. So, like, kids have parties with the piñata. So, if you don't know what a piñata is, like, hey, it's the little thing full of candy that little kids hit. And you get blindfolded and you get your turn and you get like somebody like kind of puts you up to the rate where it's at, but you can't see it. You know that it's there. Maybe you didn't even see it being put there, but you know that it's there because there's like, okay, there's a piñata, like go hit it. And I feel like that's the divine right now. The divine is saying, okay, it's your time. Go do the thing. You have this burning desire in your heart. Are you going to go for it? Are you going to do the thing? But you might be saying, but I don't see the piñata. Like I don't know for sure what I'm moving towards. I just have this feeling in my heart that is driving me. So if you are sensing almost like a pulse, like I feel like it's a pulse of energy that's moving you towards your dreams, but it's not defined yet, then you're in the right place because we are starting new cycles of energy while we're wrapping up. And so we're in that liminal space, and the liminal space can be so uncomfortable. And the liminal space is a space in between. It's the quiet before something starts. It's feeling already the endings and just being kind of in that space of, oh, whether it's grief, whether it's anticipation, apprehension, and why this might feel so big for you right now. Maybe so disorienting. Maybe you feel a little bit lonely or a little bit kind of like, what's happening right now? Well, it doesn't help that everything in the collective seems to be cuckoo, nutty. I mean, I don't even know what to exactly say about it, except that there's just so much happening, so many revelations, so many things coming out. And gosh, you guys, this stuff, although the details are new to me, for whatever reason in 2020, I was subjected, I don't know why, I learned about all these things through following threads that I saw on social media. And I remember thinking back then, I was like, oh my gosh, there is some serious darkness. Like, I can't believe these things are happening in the world. Is this real? Like, how could anybody in their right mind want to hurt children? Like, I just was flabbergasted. Like, I was like, there's no way. And I remember back then, uh, one day messaging my best friend who lives in Italy and saying, "Oh my gosh, you will not believe some of these things I'm finding on the internet right now." And it was, we're all kind of like holed up in our houses and there's nothing going on. And so I don't know why, but I found all that stuff. But anyways, it was so disconcerting. I mean, it was just like, what the heck? And so I was talking to her about it, and she's like, "Dawn, you've got to like stop watching those videos or listening to those things. Get away from it," because my nervous system was really taxed. I mean, we're going through at that time the pandemic, and then we're all stuck in a house, right? And everything's just weird and wonky, and it's like, what's happening? And then to put that layer on top of it, my nervous system at that time didn't have the capacity for it. But I think the way I'm describing how I was in the past is how some of you might be feeling right now. Because if this is new information to you of what's coming out in the collective, you might be thinking, oh my God, like what the fuck is actually happening right now? And so when you're going through and feeling a lot of change, and then the collective is revealing so much darkness. Now, here's the thing, you guys. If you think that you live in a world, like if I'm, pop in your bubble or burst in your little bubble of what you thought life was, I am so sorry. But for as much light exists in the world, there is darkness. And so much of this work, right, that we do is to understand our own shadow so that we're not bringing all our unhealed wounds and all our trauma out into the collective. But many, many, many people have not done the work. They have not figured out why they feel the way they feel, where the anger comes from, or what to do with it. And so you see these perversions, right, of reality, like these exaggerations and terrible, horrific things. And it's like, oh my gosh. And that just looking at that, like just being on the internet, and like, let's say you're like, see all this stuff about the Epstein files or something. It's it's so slimy. It's so dark. It's like, oh my gosh, I do not want to have to see this stuff, but yet it's in our faces. And there's a reason, by the way, because the shadows have to be revealed so we can transmute them to the light. But if you're not taking care of yourself, then this can feel very overwhelming. And I had a moment this week, oh my gosh, where my seventh grader came home and she was like asking me, she's like, "Mom, what's the deal with these Epstein files? Everybody's talking about on the bus home and da 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 da." And she's telling me all this stuff. And I'm like, never in my right mind did I think I was going to have to parent and talk about this kind of stuff to my children. And they're getting exposed to it. Even though my kids are not on social media, they're still hearing about it at school and it's still a topic. And kids are trying to understand this. And it's like we are growing up in very different times. Our children are growing up in different, I'm already grown up, so I can't say, but my kids are. Maybe you listening, you're growing up in very different times. But here's the thing. This can cause you to feel very emotionally activated. Maybe you have trauma that you're still working through, and something like this can make you feel like it's not safe in the world. So much of the work right now, if you're in a liminal space, if you're noticing what's happening in the collective, it's to find your center. It's to find your grounding, to come back to like what feels safe within you, because we are energetic beings, and all the time, even if you're not watching TV and seeing it that way, or you're just kind of scrolling through your phone, everything is energy. It has a charge, it has a feeling to it. So when you're scrolling and, like we'll call it doom scrolling, it's like you can't help but feel like, oh my God, this is awful. So I want you to be very careful about what you allow into your energy field. Because when we're in a space of change, and if you can't see it yet, it's happening. We are the collective, my friends, it is changing. Trust me when I say this. this month is so energetically and astrologically charged that there are going to be new directions formed, new seeds being planted, new beginnings. If you just circle the day February 20th, which is next week, that is a day when two planets, this has never happened since we've been alive, and we don't, people have gone back thousands of years and there's never been this particular thing, but Neptune and Saturn are both going to be at 0 degrees of Aries. And this is a new story. If you listen to my Soulcast and Energy Report, I said it's not even like a new chapter, it's like a new book of our lives are being written. And how exciting we get to be a part of that. I think that's the coolest thing, that we are part of the revolution. We are part of the change. However, you're meant to be a part of it. But you can't be a part of change if you feel very ungrounded and uncertain about reality. Remember, you are a co-creator. I also want to share with you that there are different qualities and types of futures. I have a whole course on this. If you're interested in learning more about it, I always share this course with you. But there's dark, dim, bright, and brilliant. And where we're all wanting to live is in the brilliant future, where we're driven by purpose. We have a really healthy nervous system that can grow, sustain, hold money, love, and keep continuing to bring in more. The brilliant future is not devoid of challenges or obstacles whatsoever, but you just are able to come back to your center. That's what I'm talking about. But if you're wrapped up in a dark or dim future, so dark is fearful, it's war, it's the Epstein files, it's all these horrific things. And if you plug into that, because everything's energy, right? So if you plug into that grid of energy and you don't unplug from it, you are on a ride. You are making yourself subject to someone else's narrative and control and what they're trying to do. Or you can be the co-creator of your life, be plugged into the divine. Like you want to be plugged into source, not the negative things that are around. So the dark future is very much a fearful one where you're scared. Oh my God, what's going to happen? It's so dark. Is there going to be a financial crisis? Is there going to be this? Like what's happening? It's like, you can hear it in my voice that it's like it starts to kind of like accelerate and you get scared and you start to think, I don't feel safe. And why should I ever try doing anything? Because it's a crazy world we're living in. So that's not true, though. There is darkness. And there is even darkness in the brilliant future. But the way that you move through darkness, the way that you deal with your fear is to take action. It's to move your body. It's to talk to a friend. It's to get back to your center. It's to understand that when you are frozen in survival, I talked about this in my last week's video, you lose time. So I don't want you to lose time. I want you to stay grounded. And then I just want to touch on the dim future, because the dim future is about apathy, being apathetic. Apathy is when you don't care. It's like the whatever, like, oh, whatever. Like, I just don't care. I'm overwhelmed. I'm up to here. I can't think anymore. It's like, I can't even process all these things. So why should I even engage with life? I'm just getting by. I'm getting through. It's the whatever life. And you know that with non-specific intentions, we have like this kind of willy-nilly life. Like if we don't really believe that we have very much power, then it's like life is happening. It's coming right at us. We're the victims. Oh, this keeps happening to me. Why does this keep happening? That's the dim future. And I love to believe that life is always happening for us, through us, so we can grow. And right now we are at an acceleration point on the planet of growth as a collective, and maybe you individually. You may be going, oh yeah, I'm feeling it. I'm really feeling it. So you in particular, like during a liminal space, just to name it, you might feel like you're shedding an identity. You might feel like your nervous system is on overload. You could be feeling all the emotional waves. You might be feeling all the divisiveness or like overwhelmed by decision fatigue, the collective uncertainty. And I really believe women are so empathic and we're so connected and we feel things so deeply. So I don't want you to think of this as maybe just a wild random thing. I want you to think of this as we're going through a transition. So this ability to sense, even if you haven't been able to name it, that's part of what I wanted to do today is name it. Name the liminal space and what might be going on for you individually and in the collective so that you're not feeling like you're going crazy, that you know that we are just in that sacred gap. And I really believe wholeheartedly that there are a few phases when it comes to working in this sacred gap. One of them is dissolution. So the old identity is fading away. I'm in that right now. I really feel it so deeply. And it's not so painful because I'm so aware of it, but I can feel parts of, what I've been doing slipping away. So you might feel that in a certain area of your life, or maybe you could be feeling it in all areas of your life, bless your heart. And then after the dissolution, you're in that sacred gap in the womb of creation, like as I like to call it, where there's no proof or no certainty. You just know like things are changing and I don't know exactly. We're going back to the piñata. Like I know it's there, I gotta hit it because I know there's some candy in it for kids, but for us it's hitting the piñata, like staying aligned is getting to abundance and blessings. I know the kids would want candy, but most of us don't want candy as adults. We want the blessings, the miracles. So the other phase of working through the sacred gap is when you get back to expansion. So there's like the contraction and the dissolution. There's the in between where you're just having to be present to what is. You're like, I don't know what the heck is going on. And then there's the other side of it where you finally expand out of it. And it all makes sense when you start to look backwards over time. You're like, oh my gosh, yeah, I had to go through that. I had to let that go. But a lot of people, when they're in the sacred gap, in that place where there's no certainty, they want to quit because there's just no evidence that it's going to even get better. So think about the times in your life where you were committed to not settling anymore. Maybe you decided, I'm going to have better health, or I'm going to make more money at my job. I'm going to get that promotion. But the physical world wasn't reflecting back to you yet the changes that you're making. I know for me with my body, it's like, oh my God, I could do something and it takes me months. Whereas when I was in my 20s and 30s, it would take me like a day. No, it would take me a week of just being mindful. And then all of a sudden everything would go back to normal, it seemed like. So I want you to realize that if you're looking for proof, you're not in trust. You're not fully in alignment with what's possible. This is the hardest part about futuring and manifestation, is that when you're in the sacred gap in the womb of creation, and I love thinking of it as a womb because in the womb you're warm and you're cared for if you choose that, but you don't know what's next. You just know that there's something there that you're going for or you're working towards. So I really want to offer you support. And if you're in a space like this, you can always get a session with me. We can get deep clarity. I do deep channeling healing sessions where I go in and I really see what's happening from spirit, source, your soul, and they're so powerful. They're so powerful. So if you need that kind of support, I'm happy to offer that to you. But I want you to understand that uncertainty and feeling like things are falling apart is part of life. And that if you can find certainty, and trust that your piñata is there, that your thing that you're working towards is there, then you're going to find that you are going to move faster. And the thing that I'd like to offer is you can do this on your own, or you can align with the divine, God, universe, whatever you want to call it. And that will help you crunch time. That will help things move faster. It doesn't mean that you're going to be on a specific timeline. I don't want to say that, but it's like you're getting out of the way. Right now, you might be blocking the way because you're looking for proof and you're like, well, I'm not going to stay in this energy in the sacred gap until I know that everything's okay, till I feel that I can see what I'm doing. But it doesn't work like that. Some of the biggest miracles that you're ever going to experience, you're like, come out of the freaking blue. And it requires you to believe in something that you can't see. I've done this so many times. I remember when I was leaving behind corporate America and going, oh my God, how am I ever going to make enough money in my own business that I run now? And it was like, well, I got to take the leap of faith. I got to trust it. I knew what I was working towards, but I didn't know exactly what it was going to look like. But I knew I had to swing. I had to go for it. Could be in anything. So I want you to think about that area right now in your life that you may be feeling that uncertainty. Kind of figure out, like, are you at the end of this? Are you about to expand? Are you still just at the beginning where you feel like your identity is crumbling around this thing? And it's okay. I just want to say this is believe it or not, this is the manifestation process. And the more you get comfortable letting go and being in the sacred gap, the faster and more clear and more aligned you will bring things in. So that's the beautiful thing, is if you can train your nervous system to trust the unknown and to partner with the divine, you're going to move through this in a very beautiful embodied way. I know it's not easy. I know. I was talking to a client yesterday, beautiful client of mine. I've known her for years, and she was going through a breakup. She's just gone through a breakup, and she's at this point, I think she's almost 40, where she's like, I'm ready for the high, quality man that I want to spend my life with. I want to, like, have a family. I want to, all these things. And she's such a go-getter. And yet it's been eluding her, but she just had this situation where she had kind of like an identity collapse. And what I mean by that is she was with the guy, everything was going great. She was like, oh my God, we're blending our lives together. And then he got really sick. And he was from a foreign country. And he got really sick. And he was like, you know what? I can't I can't get well here where they were living. I have to go back home to go to and he lives in a foreign country in Europe. And this life, this identity that she was building, that she was stepping into, all of a sudden just collapsed and went away. And she felt like her dream went away with him. And this is important to hear, you guys. Like, even if you're working on something, whether it's like your business, something with another person, that person doesn't have the power to take away your dreams. That failed business thing is probably just a redirection in the right way that you need to go. But if you think that that thing has the power and it's telling you that your dream is dead, you're giving your power to the wrong thing. You have to give your power to something higher. That's why it's so important to be aligned with the divine, to say, oh wow, that didn't work out, but that doesn't mean my dream is dead. That person isn't aligned, because if you're clear in your heart of what you want, if anything is not right about it, it's going to work itself through and out. And you have to trust that process, but it's going to feel like a collapse. It's going to feel like dissolution, what I was talking about, the sacred gap. And then she's in that uncertainty right now. So she reached out to me. She's like, oh my God, like, what's happening? I don't know what to do. And it was so clear to me that she's so close. And you might be in that part of your life where you're like, I'm not close. Like I just lost the thing that I wanted. Trust me when I say this, you are closer than you've ever been. Because if you bring in something, even though it didn't work out the way you want. And let's say this guy happened to be the nicest guy she's ever dated. So in her mind, she's like, well, why wouldn't it work out if it was a nice guy? I thought I was doing everything right. Well, yes, I get that. But what it's showing her is that she's attracting in better men because she demanded something higher caliber for herself. Now, the fact that it couldn't work out due to his illness and having to move back home and all these kinds of things, she had no control over that. But that's where you have to trust the uncertainty and be like, well, oh my gosh, like that wasn't maybe meant to be. And you may not understand in the now moment why it's not meant to be. It may take time for that to reveal itself, but you have to trust that that thing that you're moving towards is still there. It didn't die with the situation. It didn't die with the situation. As a matter of fact, it's more potent and more alive if you allow yourself to grieve. And I want you to hear this because a lot of us are in very deep grieving processes. We're in grieving over the collective and the freaking craziness that's out there. We're like, oh my God, I didn't know the world was so disgusting and bad at times. The world is also exceptionally beautiful. There's beautiful people that do really good things. So you might be grieving the collective. You might be grieving the fact that, what you've been doing isn't working in your life. But I want you to grieve it because I want you to get back. That's part of the brilliant future. You feel everything. You have a nervous system that can hold it. And you get back to your heart, tending to your dream. And believing that just because that didn't work out doesn't mean that it's not going to come together. This is so important in this process. I see it all the time where people are like, well, if it didn't work out with that person, or oh my God, my business launch failed, or oh, the product didn't sell. It's like, okay, well, get back to the drawing board. Don't give up. Don't give up. So I want you to know and understand that you have to protect your dream. You get to believe that you are so wildly taken care of by the divine. Like if you understood how loved you are, and that the divine is like, no, that person, like for my client, like that person is not going to be able to give you what you want. And so instead of you being dragging this out and waiting till you have kids or something, it's going to end like pretty early in the situation so that you don't experience more pain down the road because I know what you want. I feel like that's what the divine is saying, like to her, I know what you want. And I'm gonna, if you keep believing, if you stay in the vibrational frequency, if you hold it, then it's gonna come. So I want to just leave you with a couple tips with energetic protection right now. So it's wildly important that you see if you see hopefully you understand you're an energetic being and that sometimes we can be porous when we feel vulnerable, when we feel tender, when we've gone through very difficult things. If you are in a dissolution or big contraction right now, you might be feeling more than you normally would because you're susceptible to that right now when you're tender and fragile. So build back your aura up, get it strong again, repair your aura. Like I love to feel into my aura with my eyes closed. You can close your eyes right now and I'll just lead you through this little quick exercise. And I just want you to imagine that your aura is in front and back, above and below you. And if you were to see it, maybe you don't see it, maybe you just feel it, but oh my gosh, what you're looking for, are there any rips and tears in my aura? And so maybe you see like just a little hole. Maybe you see like when you walk through a field and there's burrs, maybe you feel like a little burr is in your aura, like somebody left that there. So what I want you to do is imagine that there is this like beautiful, it's almost like a paint can. and it's filled up with your pristine, beautiful auric energy. And you're just going to take a paintbrush and you're going to go up to those places where you feel like it's open and there's a rip or there's a burr or there's a tear or whatever it may be. And you're just going to put the paintbrush right over that area and you're going to seal it up. Now, an energy field is a living, breathing, moving thing, right? But you can tend to it. You can take care of it. And this requires your imagination, right? But you're going to make sure your energy field feels strong. And then I want you to practice, once you kind of repair it, I want you to imagine that there's a beautiful golden sun above your head. You're going to put a magnet in that golden sun. And you're going to have that magnet call back all your energy you left externally. You're going to have it come back high frequency into this beautiful golden sun. And then you're going to imagine that the golden sun is so full and it's just going to tip over and it's going to pour all this golden light into your energy field. And that is your energy that is replenishing you. So not only are you repairing your aura, but you're bringing back your energy to its optimal levels, because you don't even realize this, but you leave energy when you're looking at social media, when you're in a conversation. Energetic work and boundaries, and I can go so much deeper in a session with you, but like it's so important. It's something I do in all my containers with all the ladies I work with. We always start off everything with like a 10-minute grounding and clearing our energy fields. But those are two practices that you can use. And I'll give you one more. Just noticing if you feel the yuck after you've been in a situation. I've said this so many times, but just say return to center through source and put your hand on your belly and imagine the energy going back to whoever it came from. These are things they may seem so silly, but they're not, because we're energy and you can work with your energy field and you can really support yourself. So wherever you're at this week, if you're in that sacred gap, trust it. Trust that the chaos precedes the big shifts and transformations. You're exactly where you need to be. And I would love for you to just, find the ways that you can soften into the process. If you need deeper support, definitely check out my work. I have so many different ways that I work with women and containers and all that kind of stuff. So check it out. And please like, share, and subscribe if this video supported you. Maybe it can help one of your friends too. Have a beautiful rest of your week, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Take care.